The doorbell rang at 7. I reached for the handle, but my wife stood behind me, still wearing the apron she had cooked in all afternoon. She looked at the door, then at me. "If you open that door, I'm leaving." I thought she was being dramatic, but I was wrong. By the end of this story, you will understand why she said it, and you will learn 5 natural English phrases for setting boundaries without sounding rude. For 4 years, we hosted dinner almost every weekend. I usually made the plans, my wife did most of the work. She bought the groceries, cooked the food, set the table, served everyone, and remembered who drank what, and somehow made every guest feel welcome. I poured the drinks and told people we make a great team, but the truth, we weren't really a team. At the end of the night, I would stay at the table laughing with our guests while she disappeared into the kitchen with a pile of dirty plates. And when everyone finally left, I would say that was a wonderful evening. She would smile, "Yeah, it was nice," or sometimes just, "I'm fine." And I believed her, maybe because I wanted to believe her. Looking back, she was saying yes to keep the peace. And without even realizing it, I had started to take her for granted. Not because I didn't love her, because I had become so used to everything she did that I stopped noticing how much it cost her. Whenever somebody asked, "Can we come over again next Saturday?" I would answer before she even had the chance, "Of course." She never pushed back. Until one Saturday. That afternoon her mother called. She wasn't just coming to dinner, she was bringing 2 extra guests. Nobody asked my wife, nobody even thought they needed to. She had already worked a long week, but there she was again, chopping vegetables, checking the oven, setting extra places at the table. Then, 10 minutes before 7, everything went quiet. She put the spoon down, took off her apron and said, "I can't do this anymore." I looked at the clock. The guests were already on their way. So I said the worst possible thing. "Can we just get through tonight? We'll talk about it tomorrow." She stared at me for a few seconds. "No, tomorrow is exactly what I always say. I'm drawing the line tonight." That was the first time I had ever heard her speak to me like that. Not loudly, not cruelly, just clearly. For the first time in 4 years, she was pushing back. The doorbell rang. I started walking toward the door. She stood behind me. Her hands were shaking, her eyes were full of tears. "If you open that door, I'm leaving." I froze because suddenly I understood something I should have understood years earlier. She wasn't angry about one dinner. She had hit her limit. So I didn't open the door. I stepped outside instead. Her mother was standing there with the other guests. I said, "I'm sorry, tonight isn't a good night. We need to reschedule." Her mother looked confused, one friend looked annoyed, and I felt embarrassed. But for once, my embarrassment wasn't more important than what my wife was feeling. When I went back inside, she was sitting at the kitchen table crying, and she said, "Nobody ever asks if I want to host. They just assume I will. And I keep saying yes because I'm afraid that if I disappoint people, they'll think I'm selfish." And there it was. 4 years of dinners weren't really the problem. The problem was 4 years of her being afraid to say no, and 4 years of me being comfortable enough not to notice. Alright? You just heard 5 very natural English expressions inside that story. You probably understood some of them from the situation before I even explained them. Now, let's look at exactly what they mean and how you can use them in your real life. Phrase number 1. Hit your limit. To reach the point where you cannot continue in the same way. Number 2. Keep the peace. To avoid conflict, often by staying quiet or agreeing even when you are unhappy. Number 3. Take someone for granted. To stop appreciating what someone does because you expect them to keep doing it. Number 4. Draw the line. To set a firm boundary and decide what you will not accept. And number 5, the last one, push back. To resist a request, demand, or expectation instead of automatically accepting it. Now it's your turn. Suppose your relatives assume that you will host the next holiday, but you're really exhausted. What could you say? Pause the video and think. Well done, great. Now listen to this natural answer. You can say, I love seeing everyone, but I need to draw the line at hosting this year. I can't have the holiday at my house. Very good answer. Back to the story. Things did not become perfect overnight. Her mother felt embarrassed. I felt defensive. Some friends invited us less often for a while. But my wife and I made one new rule. We would never invite people to our home unless both of us genuinely agreed. Sometimes she hosts, sometimes I do, sometimes we meet people somewhere else. And sometimes we simply say no. I also had to learn something uncomfortable. Love is not only appreciating what someone gives you. Sometimes love means noticing the cost before they have to beg you to notice. A boundary is not always a rejection. Sometimes it is clear information about what a person can give you without becoming exhausted or resentful. Now complete this sentence in the comments. I need to draw the line at. Use one phrase from today's lesson and I'll correct and improve as many answers as I can. Subscribe to this channel because here you don't just learn English, you learn how to understand people and express what others struggle to put into words. If this story made you think differently about boundaries, don't stop here. I've got other stories for you that'll help you understand people and learn natural English at the same time. Click the videos on the screen and I'll see you there. Think in English, speak in real life.